Hi everybody, I hope you are all doing well. My name is Ryan and I am the tax tutor here at Phoenix Financial Training. Now, as you all know, it is less than a week until your tax exam for the March sitting. So you are all doing your very best now to get your final preparations in to make sure you pass that exam next week. So what I want to talk to you today about is just very brief last minute hints and tips which you should take with you into the exam next week. So the first thing what I'll do first is talk again about the structure of the exam, because the structure is something that you need to focus on, and also you need to be able to plan with regards to your exam. So as you know, in your exam, what you have is Section A, Section B and Section C. Section A is made up of 15 objective test questions. Now, these 15 objective test questions, they are smaller questions and they are worth 2 marks each. So they are not big questions, but they can zap up some of your time if they involve quite a lot of calculation. So you need to have practiced as many of these OTQ questions as much as possible before the exam so that you are prepared and you understand how to answer those questions. What you must make sure you do is read every single word. So you need to make sure you understand the requirement, and you need to make sure you haven't missed anything out from the actual question itself. For example, you all know how to calculate now an income tax computation. The requirement might say calculate the taxable income, not the income tax liability. If you continue all the way through and calculate the income tax liability, then yes, your answer might be correct, but that is not the required answer in the question, and sometimes what they would do is give that as one of the options. So please just make sure that you are, of course, reading the exact requirement, reading exactly what they are asking of you in order to get the right answer in the question. So first thing you need to think about is reading every single word very, very carefully. Now, in Section A, any topic area can come up. So unfortunately, you cannot question spot, you cannot topic spot, so you can't assume that this topic won't come up or this topic will come up. That isn't the case within taxation. Anything in Section A can come up, so a smaller topic area that you probably haven't covered could come up. It has an equal opportunity of coming up the same as all of the others. So a broad range of all of the topic areas should be covered before you do go into this exam next week. Section B, similar to Section A. In Section B, what you have is 30 marks, but this is made up of 3 scenario questions. 3 scenario questions, and then for each scenario, you're going to have 5 OTQs again. Each one of those is worth 2 marks as normal. Now, again, what you need to think about here with this one is what is the actual requirement for the question, and what information in that scenario relates to that particular question. Now, normally it's laid out quite nice. They'll break it into paragraphs, and that paragraph will relate to that required question. But just in case, you have to make sure you read everything first, so you're not missing anything out in case there's like an additional note towards the end of the scenario which relates to your question. So just make sure that everything that you are putting into your answer is relevant to the particular question that they have asked of you. Then you have Section C. Section C is your constructed response area, and this will be done on word processing or spreadsheets. This is ACCA's version. And in Section C, you must show all of your workings. So any number that you put in, you would have to make sure you show a working in the Excel sheet. Even if you know how to do the answer in your head, show every working that you do just in case there is a mistake. Now, in this question, or in this section, sorry, you have 3 questions, and the first question is worth 10 marks, 10 mark constructed response. Now, in this one, it can cover any area of the syllabus. So any area of the syllabus here can be tested. It could be VAT, CGT, IHT, income tax or corporation tax. So anything can come up here, and in the past it has been theory in some situations as well, a mixture of calculation, mixture of theory. If you do get any theory questions which is asking you to explain rather than calculate, just explain it in the way that you would do the calculation. So rather than actually doing the calculation, you would do the explanation instead. Always look at the mark allocation for for all of the exam, of course, but in particularly theory, because if it's worth 4 or 5 marks, you cannot get away here with just writing 1 or 2 lines. You have to make sure you are writing a sentence for each mark. So make sure you get enough words in to make sure you get your marks on that narrative. Then in the other section C questions, you've got your 2 15 markers. You've got your income tax and your corporation tax. Now, obviously, the 15 marker on income tax will definitely be there. You've got your 50 mark question on corporation tax as well, which is definitely going to be there. So for 30% of your exam, you know what is going to come up, and therefore that means you have to make sure you are 100% prepared for those 2 big topic areas. You know you're going to have a 15 mark question on each of them, and obviously you need to be prepared for that. Put together the computations in your spreadsheets, and then also you need to think, well, these topic areas are also going to be tested in section A and also section B as well. So having a good knowledge of these topic areas won't just help you in section C, it will also help you in section A and section B as well. Now, what you then need to think about is time allocation. You need to make sure you are moving on when the time is up on your particular question. The first thing you need to do in any exam is you need to concentrate on passing it first. You need to get 50 marks, and you will get those 50 marks by doing what you know how to do in the question in the time that you've got. Once your time is up, you move on to the next question, you will pass that question and then move on to the next one. Any time that you have remaining at the end of the exam, you will then come back and get those extra marks. But the first thing you need to do is concentrate on passing, and that is making sure you complete the exam. Then, as I said, if you have extra time, come back and then make sure you are going to get those extra marks there in the time remaining. Now, you should aim for 1.8 minutes per mark in your question. So for a 15 mark question, this will take you 27 minutes, and for a 10 mark question, this will of course take you 18 minutes. You should not be spending any more time on those questions in the exam. Once you have completed that time, you move on to the next bit. Section A and Section B, don't break that down into questions. You're going to break that down into sections. So you need to work out how long you should spend on your 30 marks in Section A, how long you should spend on your 30 marks in Section B. This will ensure you complete the exam in the time available, and if you do finish before or earlier, of course, you can go back through then and check it and get those extra marks on those bits that you were not sure of initially. On the day, of course, you need to try and remain calm. So just remember all of the knowledge, try and keep that knowledge in your brain, just try and breathe very carefully, and obviously try not to panic too much on the day of the exam. I appreciate it's easier said than done, but you can do this, guys, as long as you've put the work in, you've studied the rules, you know the rules, you know how to apply these rules. On the day, you will be absolutely fine. Just keep thinking time allocation. How much time do I have to put the knowledge that I know into the answer? I just want to wish you all the very best of luck, and I hope to see you all very, very soon.